the Painted Desert to the Ponderosa Pines, the Grand Canyon State has towns and cities with unique names. So let's hit the road and find out what's in a name, Arizona.
Welcome to What's in a Name, Arizona. I'm Brian Webb, and today we're in Jerome. Population 400 permanent residents, about 5,000 foot elevation, and also known as the wickedest town in the West. Of course, it started as a mining town, became an artist enclave, and racked up a few pretty good ghost stories along the way. We're going to find out about all of it in this edition of What's in a Name, Arizona, Jerome. We're here in the Jerome Mine Museum. John Stair is our tour guide. John, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.
What can people see when they come in here?
Well, this is a museum to the mining history of Jerome from the beginning of the town until 1953 when the mines closed up.
When did this town get here and why did it get here?
Well, we're going to celebrate 150 years next year from our founding. 1876 is when the first mineral claims were made in this area.
And what kind of minerals do you, mainly copper?
Mainly copper, yeah. I mean, those ore, to get investment into the mines, they were showing these ore rocks all around the country, and that's what really sealed the deal.
And that was money.
Yes, yes.
Now, they needed some money to get things going. How did that work? They went to some deep pockets on the East Coast?
That is correct. They were consolidating some of these desperate mining claims to make a big operation. To make it worth the investment, you really had to have a lot of ore to make your money back. So long story short, through some connections, they went out to the East Coast and they went to Eugene Murray Jerome, who was a lawyer out there, a man of means, and they convinced him to invest in this consolidation, which became the United Verde Copper Company. And then to sweeten the deal, they said, we'll name the town after you if you give us the investment.
The big check, 150K, you said?
That is right. Yeah, somewhere in that vicinity.
Big money for back then, huh?
Lots of money.
And do you think of the risk he took? He'd never been to Arizona, I take it, and just some crazy miners out there want my money? What?
Exactly. And then when they didn't anticipate the price of copper going down, so within 5 years they were selling again. So that just shows you, what it takes to really develop a mine here in the middle of nowhere.
When did the mine end, and when did we turn into an art and a tourist destination?
Yeah, so in 1953 is when the mining companies basically said this is pretty much mined out and we're ceasing mining operations. Obviously, the people that lived here that were making their way here were very concerned about that. They started tearing buildings down in town. So immediately at that time, the Jerome Historical Society formed, a bunch of concerned citizens about the future of the town. And that really set the catalyst for not only preserving some of the buildings, but also having it be a place where people can come and not mine.
And it's one of the hot tourist spots in the state, clearly.
That is correct. I mean, in the 60s and 70s, when, the counter-revolution, the culture was changing, and a lot of independent-minded people came and really made their way here. And at first, it was kind of loggerheads with the people that were here before, but they realized soon that they both had their best interests at heart.
John, tell me why this town is called Wicked.
Well, it goes back to a newspaper article in the early 20th century that claimed that we were the wickedest town in the West. And we got the name because of all of the debauchery that was happening in a mining town of our size and import. So you had the gambling, you had brothels in town, you had a lot of drinking and whatnot happening.
And some reporter ran with the idea.
Someone ran with it, and it actually kind of got legs for a while, and through the competition of the newspapers, one said we were the wickedest city in the West, so kind of upping the ante, so to speak. So we went from a town to a city in the newspapers quite rapidly.
And probably good for tourism even now.
I think so.
Very good. All ends well.
Yes.
Things are getting spooky in Jerome. I'm here with Jason Voss, who knows a little bit about the town, the history, and the haunted part of things to see up here. Jason, thanks, man. Tell us about this haunted history of Jerome.
So we're standing inside the ruins of the Bartlett Hotel, which is from 1901. You can see now it's got all these coins on the ground here. Jerome has so many haunted stories. You're walking down the street, lots of things to talk about, like dead miners, etc., prostitutes, etc., murders, mayhem. You know, things come up here for people on the tour. We're standing inside, as you can see, the Bartlett Hotel, the ruins thereof. I come in here at night with the haunted tour.
Where else do you take people on your tour? What are the hot spots for haunted sightings around here?
Well, we start in our office and we go down First Avenue, and you get down into there, which is like one of the red light districts. And there's stories down there of like the police officer Charles King being murdered down there. We got stories about all kinds of different murders and mayhem.
The haunting stories clearly date back to the miners and all the people who died back then, but then it just kept on going, right?
Yeah, so what happened was you have all of this conflux of like why Jerome is so haunted. You have the minerals underground, copper, quartz. Copper, as we know, is a very good conductor of energy, electricity. You have all the Native Americans up here, the history, dead bodies underground, right? You have the hippies arriving in Jerome in the early 1970s, and what did they bring in with them? Tarot cards, Ouija boards, pendulums, a little bit of black magic.
Sure.
Vacationing up here in town, opening portals. Anton LaVey, who was the head of the Church of Satan, was actually from Arizona, and he used to visit Jerome in like the 60s and stuff like that.
It seemed like a natural place to go for a guy like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All adding to the history.
Yeah, so all that stuff compiled all together overlaps to make Jerome the unique haunted location in Arizona that it really is.
So do people actually like still sense some spirits around here from time to time?
Yeah, definitely. I got all kinds of photographs, and I like to stress that the haunted stuff here was not something made up for tourism. Okay, I mean, I've been doing tours here for like 10, 11 years and had my share of like photographs and voices, what they call EVP, and recordings and all kinds of cool stuff up here. It's a cool town to explore. It takes on a new light when you're walking around the streets here at night by a flashlight.
I was going to say, better done at night than during the day, your tour?
I think so, yes.
All right, I'm scared. For the ultimate haunted experience, try spending the night at the Jerome Grand Hotel, which used to be the town hospital. And if you can book it, try to stay in room 32, one of the most haunted rooms in this building. You might see ghosts pushing gurneys, hear the sound of children laughing, and there's even a ghost cat that might jump on your lap. Wish me luck.
I'm Jenna, I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I'm Yolanda, I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina.
We're staying at the Jerome Grand Hotel to see all the activity and the things that are happening in town.
And it's already begun.
The first encounter was in the room, hearing the obnoxious laughing. We're currently staying in the doctor's office, so it should be highly entertaining.
We've asked, there wasn't anyone above us. There's no one next to us. And we've been told to check out the mirror on the 3rd floor later tonight.
It's time to get a little artsy here in Jerome. We're going to find out about glass blowing with the pro himself, Mark Lucas. Mark, tell me about your studio here.
Well, we have been open here about 5 months. Although I've lived in Jerome for nearly 20 years. The studio here is a working studio. I do glass work. We also have a ceramic setup for a couple other artists in here that do ceramics.
Glass blowing looks so cool and complicated. How'd you learn how to do that?
I taught myself.
No kidding.
Yeah, I got books on it, and I grew up doing a lot of artwork. My mom's an artist, so just kind of, you know, it was natural to always be trying new mediums.
And a good spot. This is a big artist community here.
Yeah, I've lived here about 20 years doing my glass work. A lot of other artists here, a very supportive community for the arts.
Anything in particular you'd like to churn out with glass blowing?
Well, for today, I'm going to be making an ornament for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I need to wear these, just in case.
Yeah, it cuts out the orange glare, kind of lets you see a little bit, kind of preserve your eyes. It's not too bad without them, but yeah, it's better to wear that. I'm starting with a tube. So usually for a lot of the bowls or any kind of hollow form, I will start with a piece of tubing that I then separate.
Look at that.
I'm just kind of cleaning off the end here, getting it a little thinner. It's up around 2,000 degrees. This form of glass blowing is lamp working, which was originally done for mostly scientific glass blowing. As the scientists would see things through their microscopes and things like that, they started to like sculpt them with the glass. And that was kind of really the start of the artistic side of lamp working. I'm gonna stretch some of that out very thin to draw my design. This is kind of abstract, squiggly line design, almost like a Jackson Pollock painting. We'll be melting it down and blowing it out. Well, it doesn't take too much pressure. You have just a short amount of time to kind of get the air in there and poof that out. And then depending on the angle that I'm holding it, or like holding it up or down, I can kind of manipulate that bubble. This one I was trying to get pretty round because it's going to be an ornament. And there we go. Here's a finished product here, the ornament. It's a very popular item this time of year, so I end up making quite a few of these.
Still hot?
Yes, I do not touch that.
So beautiful, and that you just made that up in your head as you went along.
Yeah, just a kind of a design that I've developed over years of doing the glasswork.
I did notice you blowing into the cylinder. What was that about?
It takes that like breath of air into it to really like poof it out and create this circular form.
Awesome. And people can actually come here and watch you do this at Fire Brick Studio.
Yeah.
And a great gift when you leave Jerome to give to your loved ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Good stuff, Mark. We hope you've enjoyed your visit to Jerome, Arizona. We learned a little about lamp working, about the haunted history of this town, and the actual history, from a mining spot to an artist's hangout, and to how this town got its name from a rich New Yorker who visited here only once. And as we leave you, take a look at that breathtaking view. Join us next time on What's in a Name, Arizona.